obviously the biggest news coming out of last night's game, and it is now confirmed as of today, Jayson Tatum has torn his Achilles. And anybody, unfortunately, who has seen basketball, whether you played it on the streets or you see it on, we see
Saw it immediately, knew it.
know. It's one of the rare injuries where you see it and you know exactly what happened.
Knew it right away.
Yep. When somebody does the look back, like what just happened, did somebody kick me, non-contact, and they fall on the ground and you know exactly what it was.
You know what it is when you can see the player know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Like watching Jayson Tatum's reaction, I was like, oh, it's that. It's that.
Yep.
It's that. Once you can't, any other thing, not a calf strain, not an ankle, not rolling your ankle, not any of that, you can still move your foot.
Yep.
When you're holding it and there's no flexion in it and you're covering your face because it's not the pain.
It's the
My
mental.
son was watching it with me. He was like, oh, my God, he's in so much pain. I said, no, baby, it's not the pain. It's the actual knowledge.
He knows it's a wrap.
Of what he's about to sacrifice, what he's going to miss out on. That's where the emotion comes from. Not just for this series, but for his career now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's not going to make a recovery, but the chance of winning a back-to-back championship is gone. A chance for him being ready for next season. The team, we all know the team will look different next year because they can't re-sign
everybody.
They don't have the money. Al Horford's going to be gone. It's a bunch of things that are going to happen now, and this is a catalyst to now different things are going to happen because now you're not going to have them at least, and this is an early guesstimation, the All-Star game.
Yep.
At least.
Yeah.
And so the tears and the agony they're from him realizing, oh God, this is now a journey and it has nothing to do with basketball.
And you can always see, specifically with this injury, there's a look of disdain and a look of loss. Like other ones, you mentioned ankle, and anybody, if you've ever rolled your ankle, that might be the worst pain.
Yes.
A knee is more in the middle between the ankle and the Achilles of pain. But you're like, it hurts. But that Achilles, the initial pain, but then it's it's a wrap.
But you know what? It's not even pain with the Achilles. You feel something like something pop.
Audibly, people hear it.
It's not a pain thing. It's like you'll look back and like, hey, what just happened? Somebody, the realization after you realize you're by yourself, there was no contact. After all of that, then you realize, oh, no, it's over.
Yeah.
Not forever, but for now.
And you mentioned something that I want to touch on right now is looking at Jayson Tatum's injury and just looking at how these things go. We all love hoops. If you're specifically NBA, you get these magical windows. In all sports, in the NFL as well. You get these magical windows where things can happen. You can change the trajectory of being a all-star, perennial all-star, to a champion. From being a champion to a 2-time, to a 3-time. There's these little windows. I'll give you an example. If Kevin Durant doesn't come to the Warriors, maybe Steph at the time is just a one-time. And now you can say he won after, but that's because of all the winning and you grew and they might have blew the thing up earlier if they don't win again. So there are so many moments. And I'm looking at this now as this is why you don't play with your food, Ephraim. If you're the Celtics, the projected, everybody had you winning this series fairly easily. The Knicks really struggled against the Pistons. You could argue the Pistons outplayed them. They just didn't finish them. They didn't know how to. They had to get the experience. This is why you don't play with your food in any capacity when you have a chance to beat somebody, put your foot on the throat, and move on to the next round. Because to me, you can't be up 20 points. One time I'll give you. It happens. But multiple times at home, and you lose these games because you lose the opportunity for guys to rest, for guys to sit out fourth quarters, for guys to prevent injuries because you sweep them, boom, we're out, we're on to the next round. And this is why when you get a chance and you're supposed to be the better team, you're supposed to be the reigning champs, you don't play around because now you're in a situation where you have to win it all. Now, they still have the talent, just as far as if I listed the roster.
They were 8-2 this year without
right?
Including a playoff win without Jayson Tatum
against
in
the
the
Magic.
lineup.
He was out. Yeah, they absolutely. Jaylen Brown is currently the reigning Finals MVP, and the guy that can get you 25, 30 any night, and you can argue is underperforming right now. And then you got Porzingis, you got Drew Holiday, who maybe steps up more now. They're so deep, you forget how good Drew Holiday really is.
Yeah, the thing with Drew and watching this series, it was like he got old in front of our faces. Like watching him.
Can I add to why I think?
Well, of course, and I know exactly what you're going to say, but go ahead.
I think when you've been relegated to just be around the corner, the perimeter, just shoot three, and like him with the Bucks, and I know it's a few years back, he can post up any smaller guard.
You're right.
Left hand, right hand. But when you've been – and I think they do a disadvantage to even Jayson Tatum. When you just relegate him to shooting threes, he's so much better than that. He's way stronger than he looks. He can post up great. But when you're just like, this is our offense the way it's ran, to me it makes it easier to defend. Now, the shots might fall tonight. You hit 35 threes. What am I going to do? But it makes it easier to defend.
You make a good point. And I also believe that the fact that he has to chase Brunson –
you ain't lying about that. That's
the
a
whole
lot.
game, you can see it wearing on him in the second half. You can see
that's fair
because
point.
he's the primary, and he's a tremendous wing on ball defender, one of the best in the league. But Jalen Brunson is so ball dominant in that Knicks offense.
Man,
he's going to have the ball 80% of the time when he's on the court. And you defending that, someone who can get any shot anywhere, is constantly on the move, it just wears on your legs. It just wears you down.
Point. That's a great so I think it's all everything we just mentioned. He is older.
Yes.
They're not using him at his best capacity. One of the best things he did was he was just always stronger than most guards. Kind of Sam Cassell, I put you in my back.
Yes.
Chauncey Billups used to do it a lot. Just, man, hey, Gary Payton. These are guys who knew how to take advantage of the size. And last point, speaking of Chauncey Billups, I think this is now where they might be the 04 Detroit basketball Pistons. Bunch of Eastern Conference final appearances, 1 ring. They did get back to the finals, go to Game 7 versus Spurs in 05, that Pistons team, and that was it. And it was like you wanted one more.
Yeah, but I tell you the difference there is they weren't looking to score any points on that Detroit team.
You weren't either.
They were like, the final score is going to be 70-63. Right? That's where we're living.
Yeah.
What they did to the Lakers in that finals, I still couldn't believe it. I'm like, nobody can score?
Nobody.
But that's what they hung their hat on. So they knew that they were going to muck it up. And I will say this. Shout out to the NBA. Shout out to Adam Silver. Shout out to the referees for issuing in these playoffs a more physical style of play.
Man, it was so welcomed. My gosh.
To me, and to get back on the Celtics and the Jayson Tatum of it all, their formula for winning, it's not conducive when you're missing shots. If you can't, in the middle of missing 44 threes, say, hey, let's attack the high to mid post.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get
Tatum,
Drew Holiday in the post against Brunson.
100%.
Let's run our action through the post opposed to from the 3-point line. Let's not just rely on the shot. If it's not falling, the thing with shooters, and they're all shooters, all 5 of them, they're all shooters.
Everybody.
The thing with shooters is they always think their next one is going in.
Yep.
But when you string that together and step outside, now we look at those first 2 games, it's like, well, dang, why wouldn't they just be like, hey, let's draw up some things to get us closer to the basket? And I think that's the problem. If they're going to live and die by the 3, then in this series, they're going to die by it because the Knicks are not allowing them to get the open looks. And in this past game, early on, Derek White hit his first 4 threes.
Yep.
Right? Because, number one, on the first possession, their transition defense, he was wide open.
Yeah.
He hit that one. They came back. They swung the ball, got it back to him wide open. They got that one. Came back down again. He came back, stepped back, got off the ball, got it back, hit that. He was open. timeout.
Yep.
Tibbs call a timeout. And so what happens is now it's like we got to make them earn this. And they shot fairly well from the three-point line this past game. But not having Jayson Tatum was carrying the team.
Oh, my gosh.
Obviously.
Yeah, 42 before he went down?
Obviously.
Yeah.
And so you're in a situation, and you still were down in that game.
That's the part I want people to not. Man, if he didn't go down, no. Y'all were down 9.
There's 2 minutes left in the
When
2.5 minutes left in the game.
So don't let's not act like that. You were still down, and then you had the best closer in the game is on the Knicks side of the ball with Jalen Brunson.